Yeah, see, that's what I was looking for. You asked. I really appreciate that. Good morning, Sunrisers. Good morning. All right. Since you asked and you were paying attention to us, would you lead us in the pledge? Certainly. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm glad that everybody didn't just immediately stand up. I want to keep you on your toes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, this is going to work. Or not. Don't come this right now. Working. Hey, you know, this is great. I get a chance to sit up here and make this thing work. It works the whole morning, and then when I decide to start the show, it freezes.
Get a tech guy.
I know, I should be the tech guy.
Call the tech guy. Actually, I'll tap dance while you got
Hey, look, hey, yeah, I think we all know these people, so we'll just move on. Visiting Rotarians and guests. Looks like we have a lot, so we'll just kind of go this way. So,
Yeah, we are visiting from Denmark. I was in Eureka 15-16 with Old Town Rotary, and now I'm back visiting. And I brought my parents. Hi, and
all right.
Yeah, it's okay if you picture the names. And my dad's a Rotarian in Denmark, technically speaking.
this is a makeup.
Yeah, you're in great
This is
shape.
perfect.
It is. Do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, well, thank you so very much for Ian and Elizabeth for hosting us for 5 days and taking us around the area. We much appreciate that. Even returning we were hosting Ian and Elizabeth in March when they were in Denmark to see where we actually lived and not only trust our stories about how Denmark really looked for us. So appreciate that very much, and yeah, happy to be here, and thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right.
And I've got a couple of guests I'd like to introduce. This is Joellen Clark-Peterson. She is the executive director of the and today's speaker. And we have a guest today who arrived who wanted to check out our club. It's Joanne over here sitting. If you could make sure you say hello and introduce yourself to Joanne. She just wanted to come by and check out the club and see what Rotary is about.
We're going to actually give Joanne a minute to speak in a little while. So, anybody here?
Dr. Kim Baradell.
Kim Baradell from Eureka.
President Ray, I have a guest this morning. This is Jennifer Fitch-Reese from HSU and 1062 Studio 1062.
Oh,
Hi, Brandon Kakituka, our proposed member.
I'm fortunate enough to have my wife, Elisa, and my daughter, Isabella, here today.
Oh, we don't have a guest at this table. You guys are dry.
You gotta do better. You gotta have the king.
Recognitions, please remember to try to get these in. If you've got anything, get them through there. Sojourning Sunrisers. Does anybody have any travel? Because you're going to be the last one, so we'll start out here. Oh, Maggie.
Oh, that was confusing.
That was confusing. I'm always confusing.
I just got back. I went to San Francisco for a day, and well, 3 days. It took 3 days to go there for a day. You know how it goes. And I was visiting with my German brother when I was 15 and 16. Just a few years ago, I was an exchange student in Germany, and I've stayed in contact with my family. So he was here with his wife and their kids, and we went from one side of San Francisco to the other, basically the wharf, cable car, the beach, Louis, and you really do wait for like a long time in the cable car locker. It's amazing what tourists put up with to visit that city, but it was a lot of fun and beautiful, and And then I had to call the tow truck because my car wouldn't start when I was trying to get out of there. So I'm going to go get a new battery today, right after this meeting. It was fun.
So my mom's big wish was to be able to go to Alaska and go see the glaciers before they're gone. So she and I went up to Alaska for a week and a half and took a cruise and then went up to Denali, and it was really nice.
Right. Before they're gone.
We're going to continue to go in this.
So last week we took Izzy on her kind of her last hurrah before we put her on the airplane to go home. We went to Vancouver and Seattle where we ran into Mia and her parents. It was so funny. We ran into all kinds of exchange people. It was great. But we had a fantastic trip. Izzy we let her do whatever she wanted. She did all kinds of things she probably wasn't supposed to do. We just had a great time. We just sent her home, and I'm still not over it. I'm ready for her to come back already.
I'm going to stand up. I'm going to look at myself. Oh my God.
You're not that tall.
I know you reminded me that my time was fleeting, and but I am happy to be a champion for the week. The weekend power. Anyway, Shelley and I headed down to San Francisco. Well, actually, we went to Pollock Pines first to visit my sister and her husband, my sister Jerry Ann and her husband Worth, and then we piled in the car the next day and went down to take the ferry to the Giants A's game, which was fun. We were 2 days too late to see the Breyer family down there, Lori and her family. But it was a fun time. First time I'd been to AT&T Park, and it was a great time. And then we came back on Monday and took a day off on Tuesday just to relax. So, it was fun.
We don't do anything. I was Eureka.
So, for those who were here when I did my talk on abalone, mostly urchins, one of the things that I've done is I've become a reef check diver, so I'm a citizen scientist, which is volunteer. So Monday and Tuesday, I actually did some reef check dives down in the Mendocino areas, and got to see firsthand some of the different parts of the ecosystem, and we dove the area that they're going to be doing the urchin removal this coming weekend, so it'll be very interesting to see what it's going to look like on the backside after the event. It was an urchin baron on the north side of Allen Cove. It was kind of depressing, I didn't even recognize. But anyway, so my adventures continue.
All right.
One in there.
Oh,
There's a
big
one.
Yeah, you have one in there. Yeah, you got a small one.
So, this is Mimi, her mom, our sister, and myself went to France for 2 weeks. So, jam-packed with, there's so much to see there, so it just felt like total time. But picnic under the Eiffel Tower, went down rapids in Verdun Gorge, biked in the wine country in Abt, and overall just a great time. The metro was amazing, made it so easy to travel and get around and see all the food and the Arcata and all that stuff. It was amazing.
Right.
So, that's great. I'm glad that we're getting international travel here. And speaking of international travel, last week I let Terry talk about international conference, and I just kind of blazed past somebody else who went, a couple members. And I figured I'd give them a chance today to talk about some photos and talk about it. So, Susan, would you like to?
And Ashliegh. First, we're wearing our nerd skirts.
I got the wrong picture. I did a great job.
You did a fabulous job. So, yeah, these are our nerd skirts, and that's a picture of me hemming them in the airport on our way to Toronto to the International Convention. We had so much fun. Ashley and her boyfriend went early, and I was by myself in the airport in San Francisco, where I promptly lost my Kindle. So that was my first of losing many things throughout the day. So then Sunday, we registered. We went to the opening session, which was amazing, with First Nations dancers, both from Canada and from Australia. It was, and then of course when they bring the flags out and display the flags of all of the countries that are involved in Rotary, it was spectacular. On the other picture, Sunday night, we went to a dinner for a bunch of Northern California, Northern Nevada places, Rotary clubs, and we saw Kathy Frazier, who just happened to be there. So there was a picture of her, and she says, "Hello, everybody." That was very exciting. And then, yeah, there's Kathy. And there we are in our nerd skirts. So, next picture was supposed to be Canadian poutine, but this is the chief of the tribe in the area, the largest tribe in the area near Toronto, and he gave a really wonderful, welcoming talk and talked about how we all need to work together no matter what our background is for the good that we do in all of the world and specifically in Rotary. You should say something, Ashley.
Oh, this is me.
That's
Most of you know that Rotary was such a big part of my life for the last 5 years before transitioning to Rotary, and we got to celebrate Rotary's 50th anniversary, so that was really great. It had a lot of promotional items up and telling just the history of Rotary. If you don't know very much about Rotary, I encourage you to look that up. It was started in the late 60s, so it's been around for a while. We just heard about Rotary in the last 10 years, so yeah.
cool. And then there was a message to Sophie. Sophie's not here this morning, but the convention missed her. Yes. That's a weird picture. I wish I was in control. So we made new friends. So the convention had a theme, and it was on the areas of focus of Rotary, and every day we focused on certain things. This was a lady that we met from Barbados. What I love, this is just my second convention, our second convention, is the people that you can meet from all over the world who bring different perspectives and different ideas to what you're doing. This lady is the incoming president for her club in the Barbados. On Monday, we kind of skipped because we were all exhausted.
Terry did too, she said.
Yeah, Terry did too, so anyway. But on Tuesday, we did go to the House of Friendship where I lost my phone. And I'm really grateful that Rotarians are honest, because we backtracked everywhere we went in the House of Friendship, which if you've ever been there is huge, and I despaired of having a phone, but I did have a phone because they kept it at one of the places where I spent too much money. So on Tuesday, the message was about sustainability with a focus on water, sanitation, and literacy. Laura Bush came to speak. I have no pictures of her because they didn't allow any photos or videos to be taken. In fact, they didn't even publish any official Rotary pictures of her. But she talked about what both of the George Bushes are up to, and then she talked about the importance of primary education. Do you want to say anything? Okay. Then the former Prime Minister of New Zealand came and spoke in an interview with the past president of Rotary. She talked about gender equality and how that plays into sustainable development. That is not her. She should have been in a different photo maybe. But Justin Trudeau came, and we actually got up really early so we could get a decent seat to see him. He was as elegant and as poised as his build. He spoke about eradication of polio, and as you may know, Canada last year committed something like $600 million toward the final eradication of polio. So he was there to just add Canada's continuing support. And then this was a minute of fame. This was one of the official Rotary photographs, and if you went to the convention website, there I was with my mouth really wide open and an unfortunate double chin. But next to me is a lady, also a past president of Rotary in Australia. And so it is so much fun to, her name is Lisa, I remember her first name. It's really nice to be able to continue to stay in touch with these folks. This was an amazing day. It started with Justin Trudeau, but really there were a couple of speakers that were fantastic. One is Marie Paul Atema. She spoke about her work as a Rotary Peace Fellow, and she has such a vested interest in peace. Her family was part of the genocide in Rwanda, and she went through a long series of life changes before she became the confident and poised young mother that she was, working with a Peace Fellow Rotary group. And to me, that just exemplified what Rotary can do in the world, to take someone from such a horrific situation and give them the focus and the positivity needed to make something amazing out of her life. But then even a person that I really enjoyed hearing from, probably the standout speaker from my perspective, was Xavier Ramey. He's a Rotarian from Chicago and CEO of Justice Informed. He spoke about our responsibility as Rotarians to make the possible probable, and of our need to understand our privilege in our group of Rotarians, understanding what we enjoy and embracing the tension between ourselves and people from different walks of life so that we can find common ground and work together to make changes in the world. So then we went to Niagara Falls. And we ziplined down to the falls.
Yay.
Yes, that was at the end. It was really, really fun. And then we went on the cruise in the evening and saw fireworks and got wet, and it was fantastic. And then, so, do you want to talk about Hello Rotarians?
So it started last Rotary Convention in Atlanta, and my aunt would always try to go, she's very friendly, as you can tell, and she'd go up to everybody and she'd be like, hello Rotarians. Or she actually would say, hello Rotarians, and it would kind of put people off guard. But she did it again this year, and this year there was one gentleman who goes, oh, there's that lady again. So we had a good time.
So when I went to the airport and I saw past District Governor Kevin and the Flamsons, I said, hello, Rotarians. Is this District 5130 seating arrangements? So that was a very fun way to finish the trip, was to find some Rotarians. And yeah, that hello, Rotarians. I don't always go hello. Sometimes, hello, Rotarians. Anyway, that's it.
I distinctly had to have you describe these photos because she sent me this fabulous email with the descriptions of everything. And then I noticed that they didn't line up with the way the pictures got imported. And I said, I don't really want to start calling people by the wrong names. So I figured this was better. So,
okay, well, thank you for letting me share. You have the opportunity to go to a convention. It's an amazing experience.
I want to know where the fabric came from for your skirt.
I designed it.
Yeah.
And I had it printed. Yes, our nerd
Just
skirts.
enough for 2 skirts?
Yeah. But I can order as much as you would like.
That's what we were waiting for.
Ray can have another shirt.
yeah, it only cost me $500. Woohoo! So, I like my strange things. This is going to be a really strange one. So this week, I'm going backpacking. I'm really excited about that. I'm going to go up to Grizzly Lake and I'm going to take a small photo of me small video of me putting a Rotary pin up there. Whoever brings it back to me is going to get halfway to a Paul Harris. So,
Where are you going?
Where is Grizzly Lake?
Grizzly Lake.
Where is it?
That's all the help you get. You get no more help. Here's what I'm going to show you. I'm bringing this.
It's like Fish Lake.
I'm going to walk up into the middle of nowhere. I'm going to take a video and I'm going to put it under a rock near the shore of the lake. That's the video you'll get. You'll get it next week. Whoever chooses to go up there and bring me a video of recovering it, we'll get there. We'll stop with that.
Research. That's the next trip. Right?
This is my beautiful slide for our presentation because apparently, even though I have some tech background, I'm not good at what I do with this. So, I'm going to just let you take over from here. We haven't seen you in a while. So.
Yeah, it's been a year for sure. I'm a little bit sick, so I'll try my best to not have a cough attack while I'm speaking. But thank you guys for supporting me doing the youth exchange program. It was really life-changing, and without you guys keeping the program running, I wouldn't have been able to meet as many amazing people and really find such a network all the way across the world, which was really, really awesome. I also struggled a little bit to figure out how to squeeze a year of exchange into a small presentation, but I'm going to try my best and just talk about what I'm most enthused about. And also a lot of exchange. I've noticed I've only been back a month, but I've noticed that I'm still learning so many things from my experiences in Denmark, and I think it's really cool how it's not just like 1 year of my life. It will continue, I think, for a really, really long time, and I'll keep drawing from it. So I'm just going to share some of my favorite anecdotes first, and then I'll end with a poem that I wrote. One of my favorite stories to tell people from the US about Denmark is how a lot of the times Danes will leave baby strollers outside unattended. My friends actually came and visited me in Denmark, and we were walking by these strollers, and they're like, why are these babies unattended? Like, this is so crazy. And I guess I like became used to it, and I was like, oh yeah, like they just do that because they actually trust everyone in their society. And why would anyone want to steal a kid? So that was really cool to see. And hand in hand with that, I used public transportation a lot, which was so nice. And there would be these tiny kids that looked maybe around the age of 6, just using the trains by themselves and totally knowing how to get from place to place while I was still so lost. And so it was really cool, just I think those bring out the aspect of trust in the Danish system or society, just with all ages. And it was really cool to be a part of that and feel trusted as a teenager there and as a foreigner, and feel respected by everyone, given the benefit of the doubt. A lot of the time I'd hear this phrase that my host families would use, that the Danes have this freedom under responsibility sort of deal, so you're given the benefit of doubt until proven wrong. So it's really awesome just to be part of an equal society while a lot of crazy stuff is going on in the world. Another thing that I like to share is this thing called hygge, and it's basically just this feeling of coziness. It doesn't have a direct translation of hanging out with friends. And so really, a lot of the time, I learned how to relax in my year abroad, actually, which I figured out is so important, and spending that time with friends and learning how to connect with them. So that was really awesome. And one of the things that was really important to me in my year abroad and helped me a lot was journaling, actually. And so it was some way to process whatever I was experiencing. And some of my friends were into it also, and so we all talked together about it, and eventually we decided that we wanted to go to a poetry slam. And so I went to a few in my time abroad, and it was actually terrifying because as much as I wanted to do it, I was super terrified of sharing something so intimate with this large crowd that I also didn't know. But it turned out to be really, really worthwhile, and one of my favorite stories of my time in Denmark was at this poetry slam, my second one. It's a tradition that while someone is presenting their poem, the audience gives audio feedback, and so they'll like snap their fingers or clap or just like give a holler every now and then, and it's just a way to engage and interact with the people who are performing. And so I was sitting next to this girl from Germany, and these slams were in English, and so it brought together a bunch of people from all over the world. So there were Danes there, and Americans, and people like Hungary. It was really awesome to meet all these people and hear their stories. And so this girl and I were sitting next to each other, and we got each other really hyped about giving this audio feedback. And so anything that we'd feel, we'd express through like these snaps. And it was really awesome just to sit there and get each other so riled up over these phones. And so we formed a really awesome connection. And then during the break, she offered me if I wanted to come on stage with her and read her poem with her, which was really shocking because writing these poems can take months, and to prepare for them can take a really long time. And it's something so intimate also, and she gave me this 5-minute warning just to go read her poem with her. Like, it was super casual. And I was pretty nervous, but I said yes, and everyone was encouraging me. And so the poem talks about her childhood and how she grew up in a ever-evolving world and society. And it was really awesome just to be part of that and realize how friendly strangers can be. And that's another thing that I really found, especially coming back from being in Denmark, is this aspect of feeling foreign a lot of the time. It's not this great feeling. It can be exciting at first, but eventually, you know, you want someone to, you want to feel like home. And I really did make a second home in Denmark, and that was really incredible to me. And so this girl showing me this aspect of home, of just acceptance, was really important. And so I really understand now anyone who comes to visit, I really want to show them around and tell them that they're welcome here. Because it's really a big deal to, you know, feel forward and like hold everything back. So also getting into poetry and just expressing everything was really, really helpful to me. And so it's hard to condense my whole year into this, but I wrote a poem that I think that's the best way I can express everything, not everything, but aspects of what I've learned. And realizing now my presentation is kind of like a why you should write poetry type of deal, but it's really fun. So I'm gonna read this poem now and try to not cough. Yes, exactly. Okay. Imagine all of the parallel universes that could exist, with every single possibility where anything you want to have happen, happens there. And no, don't consider yourself to be promised anything by these worlds or in them, but consider yourself able to live infinite lives with the same soul. In one of these realms, I met myself, about 43 times over and over, through the most peculiar bodies, with strange voices and styles and expressions. They took me dancing in the streets of the city in broad daylight. Trust me, I really couldn't hide anywhere under all of its foreignness. I looked for places to curl up in and make myself feel like California was still at my feet. But wherever I went, songbirds would follow me. They'd wake me up at 4 in the morning and sing to me how beautiful it was to share their home with me, even when everything they considered home was temporary. Was the sun shifting from staying out all summer to only peeking out for a matter of hours in December? Was not even garden weeds lingering around for winter? Was us knowing that our time together is unknown, but we sure as heck still like each other's company anyways, even if it's only a speaking of memories from past lives and feeling nostalgic of stories we're hearing for the first time. How amazing they transfer through us like wildfire, and you can still see their indentation in our rings years after we've met. The birds tell me that we often have our traumas burned into us as well, and can use them as materials to build a shelter away from the sound of people. We can use our shelter as defense from what can seem like the scariest and most heart-wrenching of things, that is, to tell someone we're in pain. But it's okay. These strangers and soon-to-be friends will stop by your refuge. They will sing to you how beautiful it is to share such a unique place with you at such an interesting intersection in time for however long it lasts. These bodies won't tell me to rephrase my words. They tell me I don't need to bury the parts of me that feel obtuse in this obscure place. I don't need to apologize for my accent or the way I groove. I don't need to apologize for feeling foreign and trying my best at times to hide that. Even though, to the rain, I often speak gibberish and incoherent beats on my walks home during the night, falling water still drenches me despite the odd shapes I mold myself into. The rain can't tell the difference, and neither can the birds that wade in the stream. And if I really let myself go, I can let the rain wash away all of my fear of not fitting in. Even though I often choose to squeeze all of my traumas into the small cracks of my spine, it doesn't make me broken. I'm not broken because I'm not alone. In every version of reality, in all of the possible worlds, I'm never alone, not with a soul that has been shared with so many others. How could I ever forget the pieces of myself that everyone has brought together? And most of them lie here in this new collected home, weaved of the blueberry branches beneath us, where new friends join me and we indulge in the small joys of the berries. And for a moment, we have bliss. And you can believe it all. Can you believe it all? Will you let yourself believe in the magic of you losing yourself and regrouping into billions of other people who you may never get to meet all of? But at least you're here with some now. And that is one of the sweetest thoughts I can dream up. How boldly these people live, dancing in the streets under the rain. How crazy to think that I can join them without even needing to change myself. I never knew that life could feel like this. I could live like this, free at last from a stamped heart, from a heart that desperately begs to be remembered despite being promised nothing. But perhaps someone receiving my existence would save a special place for it and then produce a token proving that we all exist as humans. And isn't that so bittersweetly how humans are? To long for that assurance and find it in this connection formed from us reaching out of our bodies despite the outside temperatures and the risk, and miraculously understanding what we're expressing to each other. We know that nothing lasts forever, yet we choose it anyways. And there's not a single person to say that it wasn't worth at least trying for the thrills of it all. And even if it doesn't work out here, remember all of the mountains and valleys that hold alternate universes, where what you wish to have happen, happens. How else would you dream of such a place without unraveling memories of each other through every smile and frown you've met? They're each begging for you to ask them how they're doing. Thank you.
Better than I speak. I think we're going to choose to go out of order now.
Do you need to bring this up real quick? Sand Sculpture Festival. Does anybody want to talk about this? Because all the people who are going to talk about it are not here. Never mind.
I'll take that.
We have one.
All right, because it's a RISE event. What does RISE mean? Rotary involvement strengthens everyone. So this is one of the many events. This will sort of kick off for this month, a time that we all get together. This is super fun. It's going to be Saturday the 28th, and it's actually at the drag strip. It's a new location this time, and all the proceeds for the event, teams just go and make a sandcastle, and it's super fun. So we'll get out there and just dig up some sand together. And it's a great one to bring your families to. All the proceeds go to educational events with Friends of the Dunes and doing some good stuff for youth and other projects in the area. So it's just really a fun time for us to get together. I'm trying to dream up some sort of sandcastle that represents Rotary. If you have ideas, shoot them my way, but hopefully we'll all be digging up some sand together on Saturday the 28th in the morning.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I'm glad that someone knew, because I was not doing a very good job of that. Vanessa, you're here? Yes, you are here.
In the back. The marathon is August 12th, and they need 30 volunteers to help guide the runners around. They have the key spots covered, but they're looking for people to come and do 2-hour shifts or 4-hour shifts. And you'll just direct runners. You'll have instructions about how to redirect traffic if somebody's coming at you. So I have a sign-up sheet here.
Where is it?
It's here in Humboldt, in Arcata.
And who's putting this on? What is this?
This is the Humboldt Bay Marathon.
Is there a half and a full?
There's a half and a full, but what they need are Arcata volunteers. Let's see, the first runners are going to be coming through Arcata about 7:30. So you would show up like half an hour before your shift. They'll wear bright clothing, or they'll come by and bring you a vest, and we just point people on. Sunday, August 12th. And I've reached out to Sophie for Rotaractors, but she's thinking maybe there's only 5 of them that will be able to, so it's really leaving me. So I have,
Let's try to get some sign-ups for me, Sal.
so I'm going to pass this guy around, and on the first, it's just your name, email address, and then this first column is just 2 or 4, just to let them know what shift you want to do.
Really? Technology, love you so much. You know, somebody told me don't depend on technology just in general. I'm going to go ahead and skip this, and I'm going to just jump right to our program.
It looks like I'm still running.
It does look like you're running. It's run, run, run for you. You should run from me at this point.
Okay, I will run while our esteemed president is working on the text. There we are. Pretty nice.
Hey, it's perfect time.
Well, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce the Arcata Chamber of Commerce and our Executive Director, Joellen Clark-Peterson. I've been on the Chamber board for 3.5 years now. This is my 2nd term. And I'm the president of the Chamber of Commerce this year. And our board is a volunteer board that really relies on our executive director and our staff to lead us. And Joellen has been with us for a little over 2 years now, 2 years and 4 months, 5 months or something like that. She comes from a background, she was in the Peace Corps in the 90s. She was doing some work in Southern Humboldt. She was working at KMUD, I believe, and the Mateel Community Center. And so when she came to us, we were recruiting for a new executive director when Sandy left. She had a really interesting background, but not a background as an executive director of a Chamber of Commerce. And so it's like, oh, can Joellen do this? I don't know. I really liked a lot of the qualities that she had. Wasn't really sure, but you know, sometimes you have to just jump in and go for it. And I really appreciate what Joellen has been able to do over the last 2.5 years. I think she's really grown in her position as the executive director, really because she's got this background in how to work with people, and that's a big part of what the Chamber of Commerce does, is work with people. She's very engaged in our community, very engaged with our business people, and has really helped the Chamber of Commerce be an integrated part of our community, not just from a business standpoint, but if you come to our mixers and you come to our events, you see that the Chamber of Commerce is really here to help build our local community. And even though we are the Arcata Chamber of Commerce, we do a lot of work sort of for the region. We have members sort of throughout the area. And so I'm very pleased at what Joellen's been able to do with us in the Chamber of Commerce over the last couple of years, and I'm very hopeful for what we'll be able to do in the future to become the Chamber of Commerce of the future, because a lot of chambers are changing, you know, as technology and people's interests are changing. And so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joellen Clark-Peterson, the Executive Director of the Arcata Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning. I was thinking when I was coming here, Sunrise Rotary, and just like reflecting on what I think when I think of you. And I was thinking fun, and of course I saw Shannon on my way in here, giggling and laughing, and I thought international, interested in the world, community builders, community shapers, dedicated, volunteers, just all these inspiring things. And so when I woke up extra early this morning, it felt fun and special. And I'm so impressed, and I almost want to say I love you. Like, this was such an inspiring, useful program, and it's really awesome. And you have been investing in the Arcata Chamber since 2003, so thank you so much. And you're all these business people in here helping each other, whether you really realize it every day or not. But thanks for doing that via the chamber too. Yeah, Steve, I'm in my 3rd year. Had never considered the chamber before I was part of the chamber. I had a feeling, of course, it had to do with business. I would see those dusty plaques in people's stores. I think subtly I thought they must care somehow. And so in some ways I had a big learning curve, and thank you so much. The board of directors has been such great mentors to me to help me understand how to work with the board, how to be in the chamber, what it means. And that's been really appreciated. And what did I want to say? Oh yes, that I'm happy I'm with the Arcata Chamber because, you know, so many of them are political. They take stands on issues, they take positions, they agree with certain candidates and not others. This is what they're based on. So many of them are like chambers of events, you know, golf tournaments, pancake breakfasts. But ours, in McKinleyville, for example, you know, they needed beautification, so they have the chamber help them put plants and flowers along the main drag. So your chamber is what your business community needs it to be. And luckily, I love to be in Arcata's because we're about working together, not just for the fun of it, which is a big part of Arcata, having fun, which I love, because I'm from the Mid-Teal and we throw fun events back there, or we used to, and hopefully it'll get better. But yeah, we like to innovate together, we like to work together to make new ideas. And we're maybe the first chamber, Arcata's is, in the country to have zero waste mixers, because that's a value in our community, to think about our responsibility to the earth. We're inclusive, that's another unusual thing about the Arcata Chamber. We may have been the first chamber in the country to have cannabis businesses. We have a pole dancing studio. I mean, everybody is an equal. You don't have to be conservative to be in business, or did I say that right? You can be in business and not be conservative, although everyone is welcome, and it's good to have all different perspectives. So I really jive with Arcata's chamber, and so happy I can be part of it. Since 1952, though, we are 61 years old apparently here in Arcata, and I did research at one point, and the chamber started in France in 1599. 200 years later, it came to the United States, either in Chicago or New York. Then 200 years later, it came to Arcata. And do I write the slides?
Well, I can sit here and look for you. You just tell me where to go.
Oh, cool.
I wouldn't let Ray touch it.
I would not. That button, every time I touch it.
This little arrow? Or down? Down. Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thanks. So this is what we're going to talk about. Who are we? How do we get our money? What do we do with that money? And the future. Oh yeah. I wanted to do some research. When you think of the Arcata Chamber, will you just blurt out some words that I can audibly understand? What comes to your mind? I told you what I think of you. What do you think of us?
Mixers.
Mixers, okay. 4th of July. Cool, thank you.
Businesses. Buck a
Businesses.
cluck.
What?
Cluck a buck.
Buck a cluck, okay. Anything else?
Joellen.
Okay, support. Cool, okay. Good to know. You always need to know if your messages are getting across. So here's our mission. These are the board of directors and staff hands. We are a diverse, non-political member organization serving the Arcata, Humboldt area, supporting business entrepreneurship, innovation, and building a strong sense of community. So, let's sit down. No. I go like this. Oh, Steve, do you want to make a reappearance? Oh, no, keep going. Okay. These are our board of directors. I think maybe we're 11 or 12 at this moment. And these are the major industries they represent. Mark's at Cocatat, Manufacturing and Employment Services. This is a really useful board member to have. Michael Kraft from Sequoia Personnel. Brian, he's not pictured here, from HPRC, Holiday Inn. Jim Ritter's a great new board member from Northern Humboldt School District. Healthcare, that's Tanya at Mad River and Humboldt State. Who's that? Frank. So it's so important to have a diversity of people and perspectives. It really makes for a rich conversation. And our committees, they're engaged in these. Oops, did I not do it? Oh, it's doing that thing.
It's doing that thing.
Okay. Well, at least I can use the cheat sheet. Member services and marketing, ambassadors, finance, and visit Arcata, which I'll tell you a little bit about in a minute. Those are our committees, and board members are on different ones of their interests and passion. That's a boring slide.
There we go.
Okay, and you can go. Okay, annual board retreat. Yes, so we get together every year at Humboldt Area Foundation and have a different facilitator each year so far, which is kind of nice to have someone different organize your thoughts. And that's where we come up, this year, Steve really led the way on that, and we're doing, this doesn't necessarily sound fun, policy, but I'm really glad he's pushing for it because we're getting a board manual and an employee handbook, and at first it sounded like drudgery to me, but I'm really glad it's happening now because it's making a lot for me actually have to like reflect on, you know, what are we doing and who are we, and like almost journal write, you know, and think about what does this really mean to me in my everyday life because I'm, you know, sort of leading the organization. So I've been appreciating the homework, thank you. It's kind of like having parents, board of directors. You know, sometimes you're like darn, you know, I don't like it, but then you're like, oh, I'm growing from this. This is good. Oh, thank you. And then our funding. This was good for me to relook at too. So here it is in order. Our memberships, thank you so much, is the bulk of it for sure. 42% of our money comes from members. Our mixers really help those reaches people get. Thank you for that too. And our annual awards dinner, all very close. 15% comes from the city and the county. The city gives us maybe 26-ish thousand, and the county has been cutting it, but it's maybe around 5 now, 5,000. 4th of July, luckily it's not a huge beer drinking fest, but beer is where we do make our money, so people are drinking just enough and we're making it's like perfect, yeah. Our workshops actually bring in a little bit of money, and that's nice. And the State of the City was a new event. I'll tell you a bit about that too. 1%. And Welcome Center, we're mainly just information now, so we sell ozones, like fanny packs and purses, so very little do we sell, but 0.2%. Oh, recognize! This is an example, you know, ribbon cuttings, and of course that's a traditional thing. I kind of like it because I used to marry people. I've married like 30 couples and only 2 are divorced, so that's a good percentage. So I believe in ceremonies, so I'm kind of glad I get to do one every so often, and congratulations, 2 years and going now. And this speaks a little bit to our the next one too with Health Sport. Our vision is to be a catalyst for local business to innovate, collaborate, grow, and succeed. So we have from beginnings to 30 years celebrating. And so those are one, and that it's important, I always think, to invite people to gather together, to set intentions together, and support each other. So in some ways, I think these are pledges we all make at these ribbon cuttings. Yes, this is our great, my co-staff person, Molly. She's the Welcome Center coordinator, but also a right-hand chamber person. And we have, she's on vacation right now, and I realize it's so nice to have someone to talk with in the workplace and brainstorm with, and it's so creative to be able to work with someone. So I do miss her, and I feel a little bit more dull when she's gone. Hopefully she's having a great time camping. So this is some of what we do. Visit Arcata. Let's see, where should I start with this? Visitor services. We have a welcome center. It's open 6 days a week. Only certain kinds of people come to the welcome center anymore. I have to say, though, I think it will improve your experience if you ever do go to one, because, for example, Molly gives them excellent advice, and everyone wants to know about redwoods. Maybe they do other things, but they seem to be coming here for redwoods. This is a little campaign we have kind of ongoing. It's for locals to leave reviews on sites that tourists might go to, you know, the marsh, the Griffin, places where people are going, and leave positive reviews so it helps tourists know where to go and that it is a happy place there. You're doing great. Oh, and I'll say one more thing, sorry. Visitarcata.com. It is a website for our city, as you know, it's a big thing now, tourism. Everybody's got their own website, all these towns. Visit Arcata will have one any day. The city of Arcata is reviewing it, so it's kind of in their hands now to birth it. But it'll be coming soon. It'll be a hub for people to understand how to enjoy and stay and explore Arcata. And then, yes, another thing we do with all the money, big money workshops. We do, this is the 3rd year we'll be doing these. We have 8 a year, or 8 or more a year. 20 to 50 people show up. Charlie, is she in your Rotary group? Charlie? Okay, yeah, she facilitated one of them. And they are great. I mean, some people like the mixer at the evening, and some people are workshop people. And the workshops turn out to be mixers. People are definitely meeting each other, know each other. John is like a lifelong learner. He's at many of them. Some are better than others, but they're mostly pretty solid. Thank you. Mixers, there's what you all remember us, traditionally chambers have been mixers. And so workshops is a way for us to get a little bit more multi-dimensional. But yes, here's our old-fashioned mixer. North Country Fair, Michael Welch said that once upon a time the board at the North Country Fair made a different chamber to oppose the Arcata chamber because they had different values. This is way before me.
Michael says a lot of things.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't know. But, so he said it's very ironic that now the North Country Fair has joined the chamber. So this to him was interesting. So yeah, and people tell me, you know, sometimes I wonder, do these mixers really work? You get all these people, throw them together, and good luck. But inevitably, I hear that people make a connection and meet somebody, and something happens that they didn't even anticipate. So that, I feel better about that. Farmers Market, Steve really champions this, and Charlie, and I love it so much, even though, again, I'm like, I have to get up so early. But we give free kinetic coffee, free Los Bagels, free Brett Schuler scones, and we walk around while the farmers set up. We go around and thank them for adding so much color to our culture and so much commerce, and it's kind of a thank you, and it's very fun. We pump a little speaker. So there's Brett communing with Julie. I think her farm right now, beef. So that's a lot of fun, and anyone's welcome to join us. 4th of July, so many people in here have really helped out with that, and it is what we call our gift to the community. You know, we only make a little bit of money on that. It's kind of a lot of work, but it's a civic holiday. It kind of makes sense that we do it, and it apparently is the longest running festival on the plaza, and it has always been thrown by the chamber. And, oh, she's here, you showed up, Jennifer. You know, because we were, I think, the first chamber to have the first zero waste mixers, we can't help but try to make it happen at 4th of July, and we did make it happen this year. We used these red cups, worked with Los Bagels, ran them back and forth, sweating, hauling, to not use those recyclable beer cups, and we only used 50 recyclable beer cups, and instead we hauled those back and forth, and we had health code safe. We served like 2,000 real cups of beer. This is the Entrepreneur Club. You know, it's tough to maintain a relationship with HSU because students change. You have to make all these individual relationships with professors. It's constant work. So far, we have had 2 years running with the HSU Entrepreneur Club. This is some of them we've gotten to know. They come to mixers, they're doing reaches, they're participating, meeting business people. They helped at all of our events. We helped them with Startup Week. We'll hope to continue that this year. We're always interested in connecting students with you, and we're slowly trying to figure out ways to really make that happen. But again, you're up against nature almost, of rotating students. But this is working so far. And then Baywood had some, and Sturfield Solar, that's just a few pictures, but I love that program too. So kids know they can stay here and work. State of the City, that was a new thing we put together a month before it actually took off, but it was quite lovely. The minor, Brett Schuler treats, city and county people spoke, business people were in the audience, could do a Q&A, and we'll keep doing that in the future, and we'll try to keep it topical, so whatever's really going on, we'll have those speakers. We started with city and county people, because it's a good place to start, but that will keep evolving. So that is something we continue to hope to offer. 2 more. Okay, 1 more. 2 more. There's 2 more slides. Okay. Biz B. Okay, I'll talk about it. This, every so often, we interview 6 chamber members. As you can see, this is what it is. Yes, it's in Mad River Union. And Vanessa again was the one that I keep talking about. You Vanessa, sorry. But yeah, so this has been fun just to let chamber members speak to the community. The next question coming up maybe next week is how would you describe the business climate in Arcata? So, oh yes, AJ has a quote in there. Annual big deal. This is our big deal. 8 awards the chamber members nominate and vote on, and if you don't come to anything else throughout the year, maybe this would be the one thing to come to, and you just get to be in the same room with Arcata business people. It's pretty cool. And of course, that was a moving speech that was given about Charlie, who won the Business Leader of the Year award this year. Okay, and the last one is the future. Yes, the economy is changing in very important ways right now, as we all know. We can't depend on cannabis anymore. I've heard maybe our county is on the verge of a recession. HSU is a huge driver of our economy, but not as many students are staying here as ideal. So if we can find ways to market our area more as a place, like a live to work place. Is that what it is? Work to live. People want to live here, so they're working to live here. And that's very appealing. If we could somehow be marketing that to obtain people, retain them, that's our thing. One more thing. Niche manufacturing, of course, we all know how lucky we are. It's a remote area, and yet we have these high-value products being made here. Tourism, that's another thing we need to harness now. And the chamber is a hub for all of this. It's a hub for conversations to happen. We don't know what will happen when we all get together and talk, so please be in communication with the chamber, and we always are trying to reach out. There's 400 plus of you, so we are always working on that, so come to us too. Thanks.
You're welcome. From the Wheelchair Foundation, making a donation in your name.
Wonderful.
And
I could be in one some days that exactly.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right, I'm realizing that time management may not be my best skill because I'm fired. I've got like 10 seconds to do everything else. So let's do the raffle real quick. Yes, raffle. Woohoo!
Raffle. I predict there will be 2 winners today.
2 winners?
2 winners.
Perfect. Let's get the 2 winners. So while we're looking for the raffle numbers,
Ending in 923.
923.
They're here. Yay.
Right.
Don't look. $5. Winner number 1, winner number 2. We'll let you pick today.
Last 3 numbers, 920.
920. There you go. Big winner. Big winner. Blue.
Pretty close. What does it say? $5 or $1?
$5 and $1 on the table. There you go. That's right. Are you sure? Awesome. Thank you.
So I started at 7:02, so if you're going to give me another 30 seconds, I can say, do we have time for announcements? Because I failed on a number of other things already. Do you want to give that announcement real quick? Because I apologize, I didn't get you in here before.
It's okay. My name's Joellen McCarthy, and I've been here 6.5 years, but I used to live in Santa Barbara, and this is a nonprofit called Unite to Light that Rotary International is really involved in. The UC Santa Barbara Engineering Department's energy efficiency created for a Ghana delegation a little light for school kids so that instead of burning kerosene at home, which is toxic and expensive, they now have solar lights to study by, and it's improving literacy, which I guess is a big issue for Rotary, and health and economic, social and economic justice. Rotary TV just did a little piece about Unite to Light, this Santa Barbara-based company, and Rotary International does a lot of distribution of these lights around the world. And I have a few here on a buy one, give one basis. I got a box of 100 and I've donated and sold or, taken donations for a few of them, but I have about 20 left and it's $20. You get a light and someone else in the world gets a light. And I have 3 here in the building, but I also have some in my car. So if you're interested, it is a Rotary project and I just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you. Because I don't want to go too far over, I'm going to end. But I have Rotarians of the Week, but I'm going to have a lot of them next week instead. It's more fun.